11.6%. That's the share of auto loans where buyers financed negative equity between 2018 and 2022. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau counted it. For those people, it meant owing more than the car was worth from day one, and that gap can follow them for years. So here's the question this video answers. How does a car loan quietly leave you underwater? And what can you do to stay out of that trap? Picture this. You're 22. You just landed your first real job, and you need a car. The dealer shows you a monthly payment that fits your budget. Only $350 a month, they say. That sounds doable, but that number hides a longer loan, a higher interest rate, and a car that loses value the second you drive it off the lot. So you sign. Years later, you try to trade it in, and the dealer tells you that you owe $5,000 more than the car is worth. You're stuck. This video is about why that happens and how to avoid it. Most advice says shop around for the best rate or put more money down. That's fine, but it misses the core trap, the loan term itself. This video will change how you think about car loans, even the ones that look affordable. Let's start with the phrase you'll hear a lot, negative equity. It simply means you owe more on your car loan than the car is worth. Say you owe $18,000 on a car that's only worth $15,000. That $3,000 gap is your negative equity. It's also called being underwater. And it's not just a number on a spreadsheet. If you need to sell or trade in the car, you'll have to pay that $3,000 out of your own pocket. That's money you weren't planning to spend. Think of it like a scale. On one side, you have the car's value. On the other, you have your loan balance. Negative equity is when the loan side tips down. The scale doesn't lie. And once it tips, it's hard to tip it back, because the car keeps losing value and your loan balance stays high. So you're stuck with a car that's worth less than you owe, and every payment you make feels like it's going into a hole. Cars are not like houses. Houses usually go up over time. Cars go down. The Federal Trade Commission puts it plainly. A car quickly loses value the moment you drive it off the lot. And in the first few years, that drop is steep. So if you take a long loan, your balance stays high while the car's value plummets. You're paying down a loan on an asset that's shrinking. It's like filling a bucket with a hole in it. Every month, you pour in a payment, but the value leaks out faster. The result? For a long time, you owe more than the car is worth. This is the core reason negative equity happens. And it's not just about the first year. The depreciation continues. By the time you're 3 years into a 7-year loan, the car has already taken the steepest part of its fall in value. But you still owe most of the loan. So the gap between what you owe and what it's worth just gets wider. And that gap is the trap. Loans used to be shorter. In the early 1970s, the average auto loan was about 30 months. Now, it's near 70 months. That's more than double. Why? Because longer loans mean lower monthly payments, and lower monthly payments are easier to sell. But here's the catch. Longer loans often have higher interest rates. So you're paying more interest over the life of the loan, even if the monthly payment is smaller. It's like buying a shirt on sale but paying twice as much in shipping. The sticker price looks good, but the total cost balloons. And because the loan stretches out, you stay underwater longer. The car depreciates faster than you pay down the principal. So you're not just paying more in interest, you're also stuck with a car that's worth less than you owe for a longer time. And the longer you're underwater, the more likely you are to roll that debt into another loan. It's a cycle that starts with a longer loan. Here's a number that might surprise you. Longer loan terms come with significantly higher interest rates. A 2024 working paper by Federal Reserve Board staff found that the rate on a long-term auto loan is much higher than on a shorter one, and that rates climb with length far more steeply than they do for Treasury securities. In recent years, loans running longer than 72 months carried an average rate about 2.4 percentage points above loans of 36 months or less. That means stretching your loan from 5 years to 7 doesn't just add 2 years of payments. It adds a higher rate on every payment you make. Over time, that costs thousands. So you're paying more for the privilege of a smaller monthly bill. It's like renting an apartment with a longer lease, but the landlord charges you more per month just because you're staying longer. That doesn't make sense, but that's how auto loans work. And it's not a small difference. The yield curve for auto loans is much steeper than for treasuries. So the longer you stretch, the more you pay. And the higher rate means your balance goes down even slower. So you're underwater even longer. Let's walk through a concrete example. You owe $18,000 on your current car, but it's only worth $15,000. That's $3,000 in negative equity. You want a new car, so you go to a dealer. The dealer says, "We'll pay off your old loan." Sounds great, right? But here's what actually happens. The dealer rolls that $3,000 into your new car loan. So now you owe $3,000 more on your new car, plus interest on that amount over the life of the loan. That $3,000 isn't gone. It's just moved, and it's growing. It's like paying off a credit card with another credit card, and then paying interest on both. The dealer isn't doing you a favor. They're just moving the debt, and they're making money on the interest. So you end up paying for your old car twice, with interest. And that's how a small gap becomes a big problem. Lenders use a number called the loan-to-value ratio, or LTV. It's your loan amount divided by the car's worth. If it's over 100%, you owe more than the car is worth. For people with negative equity, the average LTV is 119.3%. That means they owe about 19% more than the car's value. Why does this matter? Because if your car is stolen or totaled, insurance pays out the car's value, not your loan balance, so you'd owe the difference out of pocket. It's like buying a house for $200,000 with a mortgage of $250,000. If the house burns down, you still owe the bank. And with a car, that difference can be thousands of dollars. The higher your LTV, the deeper the hole. And if you have no down payment and roll in old debt, your LTV starts high and stays high for years. You might think negative equity only happens to people with bad credit, but the data says otherwise. The average credit score for someone who financed negative equity was 704. That's considered prime. So it's not a subprime problem. It's a problem for regular people like you. And it's not rare. More than 10% of all auto loans between 2018 and 2022 included negative equity. Even among people buying cheaper cars, nearly a quarter financed negative equity in 2020. That includes cars priced at $20,000 or less, where the negative equity was 23 to 25% of the car's price. So even if you're buying an affordable car, you can end up underwater. It's not about the price of the car, it's about the structure of the loan. And a lot of people, with good credit, are getting trapped. Once you have negative equity, it's tempting to roll it into a new loan. That's what many people do. But that creates a cycle. You borrow more than the car is worth, then you trade it in early, and the new loan includes the old debt. And the average loan term for people who do this is 73 months, longer than for those without negative equity. So you're stuck with a longer loan, a higher balance, and more interest. It's like trying to climb out of a hole by digging deeper. Each new loan feels like progress, but you're just digging yourself further down. And because the loan is longer, you stay underwater longer, and the cycle continues. You're never free of the old debt. You're just moving it around, and every time you move it, it grows. Negative equity doesn't just hurt your wallet, it can put your car at risk. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found that people who financed negative equity were more than twice as likely to have their account handed over for repossession within 2 years, as buyers who traded in with positive equity. Why? Because when you owe more than the car is worth, it's harder to sell it. So if you fall behind on payments, the lender comes to take the car, and repossession destroys your credit. It stays on your report for years. It's like living in a house where you owe more than it's worth, and the bank can take it if you miss a payment. The risk is real, and it's not just about losing the car, it's about the damage to your financial future. A repossession can make it harder to rent an apartment, get a credit card, or even get a job. So negative equity isn't just a number, it's a risk to your whole financial life. Here's the misconception: a lower monthly payment always means a better deal. But that's not true. Lower payments usually come with longer terms and higher interest rates. You might pay less each month, but you'll pay for more months, and at a higher rate. In the end, you pay more total interest. And because the loan is longer, you stay underwater for more of the loan's life. It's like choosing a gym membership that costs $10 a month, but requires a 5-year contract, versus one that costs $20 a month with no commitment. The first looks cheaper, but you end up paying more if you want to quit early. Same idea. And the longer loan means the car depreciates faster than you can pay it down. So you're not just paying more, you're also stuck with a car that's worth less than you owe for a longer time. The monthly payment is the bait. The total cost is the hook. Here's a scary scenario. Your car gets stolen or wrecked. Your insurance company pays out the car's current value, But if you owe more than that, you have to pay the difference. For someone with negative equity, that could be $5,000 or more. And if you don't have gap insurance, you're on the hook. That's money you might not have. It's like your house burns down and the insurance pays for the house, but you still owe the bank for the mortgage. You're left with nothing but debt. And the average negative equity for expensive new cars was over $7,000 in 2020. So the gap can be huge. And if you can't pay it, your credit takes a hit. You might even get sued. So negative equity isn't just a problem when you want to sell. It's a problem when something goes wrong. And something always goes wrong eventually. So what can you do? The decision that matters is made before you sign, and it isn't which car, it's how long. Every extra year on the term lowers the monthly payment and raises the total, and it keeps you underwater longer because the balance comes down slower than the car does. A down payment does the same job from the other side. It starts you closer to level, so the gap never opens as wide. Ask for the term, the rate, and the total cost before you sign anything. The monthly payment is the one number a dealer will volunteer, and it's the one that hides the other three. Gap insurance is worth its price only while a gap exists, which is exactly the stretch a long loan extends. And if you're already underwater, the one thing not to do is roll it into the next loan. Pay it down, or sell and cover the difference. It hurts once instead of every month. And remember, a car is a tool, not an investment. You don't need the newest model. You need something reliable that you can afford to pay off quickly. Call her Maya. She's 24, works at a retail store, and her old car is dying. She owes $18,000 on it, but the dealership offers her $15,000 as a trade-in. That's $3,000 in negative equity. The dealer says, "We'll take care of that for you." So she signs. Now she has a new car, but her loan is $23,000, even though the car is only worth $20,000. Her monthly payment is $650, way higher than she expected. She thought the dealer was paying off her old loan, but she was actually paying it off with interest. 2 years later, she needs to move for a new job. She tries to sell the car, but she still owes more than it's worth. She's trapped. And that $3,000 she thought was taken care of, it's still there, growing with interest. She's paying for a car she doesn't even own anymore. Consider a young guy named Leo. He wants a $20,000 car. He has no down payment, and he still owes $5,000 on his old car. The dealer says, "We'll roll that into your new loan, no problem." So Leo signs a loan for $25,000. His loan-to-value ratio is 125%. That means he owes 25% more than the car is worth from the very first day. His monthly payment is about $460, and he's stuck with a 73-month term. 3 years later, he wants to get out, but the car's worth about $11,500, and he still owes about $14,500. He's $3,000 underwater. He can't sell, he can't trade. He's just stuck making payments on a car that's worth less every day. And that $5,000 he owed on his old car, it's not gone, it's just part of a bigger loan now. Leo thought he was getting a fresh start, but he just dug a deeper hole. If you remember one thing, let it be this: a car loan is not just a monthly payment, it's a promise to pay for a car that's losing value every day. So before you sign, ask yourself, can I pay this off in 4 years? If the answer is no, you might be setting yourself up for negative equity. And if you already have a loan, check your loan-to-value ratio. If it's over 100%, you're underwater. The best way to avoid underwater is to keep your loan term short and your down payment real. A shorter loan might cost more each month, but it saves you thousands in interest and gets you out of the trap faster. And never roll negative equity into a new loan. It's not a fix, it's a delay that costs more. Before you close this video, do one thing. Pull up any car loan you currently have and write down the loan balance and the car's estimated value. If you owe more than it's worth, you now know what to do. And if this video helped you understand that, hit subscribe and like. Drop a comment below. What's your current loan term, and do you know your loan-to-value ratio? I read every comment.